thinking picture, because we know that corresponding parts are congruent and the way you name it matters. So if DEF is congruent to KJI, that means that D is congruent to K. So angle D is congruent to angle K. Wow. Okay, come on, pumpkin. You can do it. There you go. Okay, so angle, oh, my ham sandwich. Okay, angle E is congruent to what angle? Angle J. And angle F is congruent to what angle? Angle I. The order you name it matters. Does everybody understand? Okay? So they said FD was our next segment. So what would our segment on the IK? Please don't die. Segment DE would be congruent to KJ. And yes. And EF would be congruent to, take a point. Do we need to do it number 2, or do you think you can handle that?
I think I can handle it.
Okay, so 4 and 5 are like what we did here, correct? So you can do that without me. And 6, let's look at 6. It says mark the angles and the sides of the triangles to indicate that they are congruent. So, BDC is congruent to MLK. B is going to have how many rainbows? 1. And M will have how many rainbows?
1.
Okay, what about D?
2.
And what matches up with D?
L.
Look at us go. And C would have?
3.
And it matches up with? Okay, let's talk about tickies on the sides. Let's do BD. What would that match up with? ML. Take a point. Does everybody see how we got that?
Yes.
We went from 1 rainbow to 2, so then we went from 1 rainbow to 2. Alright, over here, DC, we're going to have 2 tickies. What would it match up with? LK. And y'all named it right. Take a point. And BC, 1 to 3. Is anybody alive out there?
3. MK.
MK, thank you. Take a point. When you just moan at me like zombies, I'm not really sure what you're saying.
I love that I run out of bringing my point sheet.
On what?
My point sheet.
You keep writing? Like you're at +6, +7, +8?
I'm at 8.
Well, then keep circling under. Snake it around the thing. I don't know what you want from me. Okay. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to finish this for homework, but let's go to 26B. And let's apply some knowledge. You're probably going to have time. This will not take long. I'm sorry for trying to teach you.
I'm trying to learn the system.
Well, we're going to learn a lot. We got this. I don't know what you want from me. Alright, so this says, use the congruency statement to fill in the corresponding congruent part. Triangle EFI is congruent to triangle HGI. So, let's do this fast. Are you ready? Angle E is congruent to?
Angle H.
Segment FE is congruent to?
Segment HJ.
GH. FE goes backwards, right? So GH would need to go backwards. Alright, angle EFI would be HGI. Look at us go. It's like we've learned something. FI would be congruent to? FIE would be congruent to? GIH. And IE would be congruent to? IH. Dun 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 dun. Does anybody have any questions on those? If you do, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Oh.
I'm sorry, are you not entertained?
I'm entertained.
2-day weekend.
Okay, number 7. Number 7, it says, in the diagram, triangle ITP is congruent to NGO. Find the values of X and Y. So if they are congruent, what do we know about their parts? They're all the same. So ITP and NGO. That means that angle O is congruent to what angle over here?
T.
P. So what are we going to set 6y minus 14 equal to?
40.
Why?
They're equal to.
Because they're congruent. Look at you go. If they're congruent, you set them equal. Take a point. Does everybody see how we got that?
Yes.
By the name up here, ITP is congruent to NGO. So this angle is congruent to this angle. And if they're congruent, you set them equal to each other. You don't add them up, you set them equal. So now what would I do to solve this? I would, and I would get 6y equals. And then what is y equal? Oh my stars.
Algebra. I know.
Which is the application of algebra to shapes. Boom. Here we go. Now, NG, this segment is congruent to what segment over here? IT, which is 7.5. Good. So you're going to say x minus 2. Do we know what y is?
Yes. 9.
Times 9 is equal to what?
7.5.
7.5. So x minus 18 equals 7.5. And what does x equal?
45.
How did you get that?
I added 18.
Does anybody have any questions? Are you sure?
Yes.
Do you want to do one more together just to be safe?
No, definition.
Let's do one more together just to be safe. Sometimes it's okay to practice more than one.
Well, go ahead do
Oh my stars. Let's do 8. Number 8. In the diagram, FHJ is congruent to HFG. Find the values of x and y. FHJ is congruent to HFG. So what do we know about these two angles? They're the same. These two are congruent. So what would we do with 6x plus 8 and 35? Set it equal to each other. Those are also alternate interior angles, just in case you forgot that. Okay, now what would I do from here?
Subtract 8.
And 6x equals? Oh, this is going to be ugly. But that's okay, we're not afraid of those.
I think I.
Not 4.5.
I'm just taking your word for it. 4.5. Now, what would I do with 2y minus 3 and 2.5?
They're equal to each other.
Why would I set those equal to each other?
Because they're congruent.
Because they're congruent. And if they are congruent, that means they are equal, and then we set them equal. Does everybody see what I did?
Yes.
Okay, what would I do from here? So you get 2y equals, and then,
Y equals 2.7.
alright, do 9 and 10 without me. I'll walk around and check. Ready, set, go.
Write a statement that indicates that
On your study guide, this first part is page 24A. So as you're working these out, I expect you to have your notebook open to the page so that I can see that you're actually using your notebook to help you do your study guide, because we take notes for a reason. Does everybody understand? So please write 24A by this section right here, the first section. Alright? This next section is also 24A, because that's where we did the sides and the angles of a triangle. The third part is 24A again. Lots of 24A. And then number 16 is applying it. So So that's 24B. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay, let's turn it over and let's see what other sections we have in this thing. This is also 24B. So that is all section 4.1, classifying triangles, where we set the sides equal to each other, we label them by the angles, we talked about all that stuff. Now from here, this is page 25A. This is also page 25A. So 18 and 19 are both applying the triangle angle sum theorem and the exterior angle theorem. Turn it over. Blessings. The last part, 20, 21, 22, 23, is page 26A. Don't know why they're screaming. And this is page 26B. Now, the back problem number 24, don't do problem number 24. It's proofs, and we haven't made it that far yet. Be excited that you don't have proofs on the test. Not yet, at least.
Oh.
They get really fun and easy when we're talking about triangles. I promise.
That stuff was hard, not gonna lie.
Does anybody have any questions?
Oh.
Okay.